It was a day that started like any other for Mr. Harrison, a man whose name was synonymous with wealth and power. His empire, built on steel and ambition, cast a long shadow over the city. That morning, he was touring one of his many factories, a place humming with the ceaseless rhythm of machinery and the sweat of hard-working men. He walked with an air of detached authority, his expensive suit a stark contrast to the grease-stained overalls of his employees. His PR team was in tow, cameras flashing, capturing a carefully curated image of a benevolent leader. He shook hands, offered tight-lipped smiles, and moved on. Then, he came to the end of the line, to a man named Samuel. Samuel was one of the best welders in the facility, his hands calloused from years of dedicated work. Ayada wore a genuine smile and looked up with respect as the billionaire approached. Samuel extended his hand, a gesture of simple, honest greeting. But Mr. Harrison just stared at it. For a moment that stretched into an eternity, there was only the deafening clang of the factory. The billionaire's eyes flickered from Samuel's dark skin to his own pale, manicured fingers. He gave a slight, almost imperceptible shake of his head, turned on his heel, and walked away, leaving Samuel's hand hanging in the air. The camera crew faltered. The PR manager's smile froze. A wave of uncomfortable silence washed over the factory floor, more potent than the noise it replaced. Samuel slowly lowered his hand, his expression a mixture of confusion and hurt. He looked down at his own hand, the one that had built and fixed and provided for his family, as if seeing it for the first time as something unworthy. Mr. Harrison, oblivious or perhaps indifferent, continued his tour. But the incident had been caught on camera, a small, ugly moment that would soon ripple outwards. Minutes later, as his convoy of black cars prepared to leave, his phone began to buzz incessantly. His PR manager ran up to the car window, his face pale. "Sir?" he stammered. "The video. It's already online. It's going viral." Mr. Harrison scoffed. "A minor misunderstanding. It will blow over." But it didn't. The clip was everywhere. The headline was brutal and direct. "Billionaire refuses to shake black employee's hand." The public outcry was immediate and immense. Hashtags trended. News outlets picked up the story. His company's stock began to plummet. Years of carefully crafted public image were unraveling in a matter of hours, all because of a single, refused handshake. He was a man who controlled markets, who could buy and sell fortunes with a single phone call, yet he was powerless against the tide of public opinion. He had built an empire, but he had forgotten the foundation upon which any great enterprise is truly built. People, he saw Samuel as just another cog in his machine, not as a man with dignity and pride. Back in his penthouse, overlooking the city he felt he owned, Mr. Harrison watched the news reports. He saw Samuel being interviewed, not with anger, but with a quiet, profound sadness. Samuel spoke about his work, his pride in his craft, and his belief in treating everyone with respect. He didn't condemn the billionaire. He simply expressed his disappointment. "We are all human," Samuel said, his words cutting deeper than any angry tirade could. And in that moment, watching the humble welder on his giant screen, Mr. Harrison felt a pang of something he hadn't experienced in years. Regret. It was a regret so sharp and profound it felt like a physical blow. He saw not just a PR disaster, not just a financial loss, but a deep, personal failing. He had stood before a good man and had shown him nothing but contempt. The next morning, without his entourage, without the cameras, Mr. Harrison drove himself back to the factory. He walked onto the floor, the hum of the machinery seeming to quiet as he approached Samuel's workstation. The other workers watched, holding their breath. He stood before Samuel, who looked up from his work, surprised. This time, it was Mr. Harrison who extended his hand. "Samuel," he said, his voice stripped of its usual authority, filled instead with a raw sincerity. "I am deeply sorry. What I did yesterday was inexcusable. It was arrogant, and it was wrong. You are a valuable member of this company, a man of dignity, and I failed to see that. I failed to see you. Will you accept my apology?" Samuel looked at the billionaire's outstretched hand, then into his eyes. He saw the regret, the shame, and the genuine plea for forgiveness. After a long moment, Samuel wiped his own hand on his overalls and took Mr. Harrison's in a firm, solid grip. "Apology accepted, sir," he said simply. That handshake didn't magically erase the events of the previous day. The company still had a long way to go to repair its image. But for Mr. Harrison, it was the beginning of a profound transformation. He learned that true wealth isn't measured in stocks or assets, but in character and humanity. He started a foundation, invested in community programs, and made it his mission to ensure every single one of his employees felt seen, valued, and respected. It was a lesson learned at a high cost, a lesson that began with a refused handshake, but ended with a newfound understanding of what it truly means to be a leader, and more importantly, what it means to be a decent human being. Sometimes, the most powerful moments are the quietest ones, and the biggest changes begin with the simplest of gestures. Thanks for watching.